Well, on a Wednesday, Vancouver City Council will consider a motion that calls for an increase to the empty homes tax. Now, the proposed increase is from 3% to 5%. Councillor Sean Orr is behind the motion, and he joins us over the line this morning. Good morning to you, Councillor.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time with us. I'm glad we're able to connect. Why do you want the empty homes tax to increase?
Well, it was originally meant to increase to 5% under the original spirit of the bylaw. So I'm just following that through with the original vision that Kennedy Stewart and crew and Vision actually had intended. It was a COPE idea at first, but glad to see that it went through, and it's an important tool that we have. We don't have a lot of tools to collect revenue in municipalities. And, cities are cash strapped, and this is just one method that we have. And it goes to affordable housing. And that's what I heard on the doors at the by-election. That's what people want. So I'm fighting for that.
Has the tax not been effective at 3%?
I think it has, but I think maybe it has been maybe written into the bottom line of doing business. It might be just sort of part of the calculations now that people just pay 3%. So originally we did see like a big sort of release of that supply into the rental market, and then we're starting to see that maybe stagnate. So it's I just think it shouldn't be just this thing that you just pay. I think it should be punitive. It's a weird tax because in the end you really don't want to get any money from it. You don't want to rely on it as a revenue source. Because you don't want any empty homes. But anecdotally, I'm hearing that there's lots of unsold stock out there. I've seen different reports. It's really hard to get data on it, obviously, but I've heard that, once again, Vancouver is leading the country in unsold units, and we should free that up for renters.
I'm trying to square something here. You're looking to overturn a council decision that was passed 2 years ago. This was originally passed in 2023. At the time, council rejected that 5% rate. It was and decided that the staff recommendation was for a 3% rate. I just want you to hear what Councillor Lisa Dominato said at the time.
They're recommending that we retain 3%, and I think for good reason, around the risk of tax evasion, and that if we start to have false disclosures, then we're not actually gaining, we're not returning those homes to the market. We're also not getting the revenue that's generated from that.
So if you raise it to 5%, do you give people a reason to try to evade the tax?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, if people are going to evade tax, if they're going to break the law, then they're going to break the law. And I think that's not a good reason to not do this. I think, that's up to them if they're going to break the law. But I think this is a good thing to do. I think this is the right thing to do. We're in a crisis, and we need all hands on deck, and that's what this is.
You might be talking about people who are local people who bought a condo as an investment or as a place that they're going to retire to, maybe, when they get older. And they've seen the value of condos drop of late. Is it really fair to impose an extra tax on those people?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, this is the right time. If your value is dropping, this is when you should be getting rental revenue out of it, right? And it's really a small amount of money in the end, compared to what renters are seeing. Like renters are seeing it go up every year by 3% tied to inflation, so it goes up every year. That's $600. A quick math, 5% is less than $600 on an average home. So if this is your investment, all investments are risky. Look, this is the cost of doing business. You're not guaranteed a return on investment on housing, right? I was talking to a friend of mine. He's been in the restaurant industry for 20 years. If you have too much stock, if you have too much supply of something, and it's not selling, then you lower the price. That's just the market. That's how it works.
Well, that apparently does not work here in Vancouver because we're not seeing it. We have thousands of unsold condominiums in this city, and the prices aren't going down.
Exactly. That's what this motion's all about. This motion is trying to free up some of that supply.
A lot of that supply is already freed up.
Well, free up. We have to free up more. If we have a record number, right? We have to do everything we can, and that's why the tax was supposed to originally keep going up and keep going up. This motion also has something in there to go after new builds because this council made an exemption on new builds, and it's going to go up more gradually. It's going to start at 1%. But I don't see why we're making houses that are going to sit empty. That's another thing that I just don't understand. So
There was another argument that was brought up at council in that meeting in 2023. I just want you to hear this is Lisa Dominato once again.
We now have a provincial speculation of vacancy tax set at 2% for foreign owners, 0.5% Canadian citizens. We also have a 2-year ban on foreign ownership in this country implemented by the federal government. So that landscape has changed.
So the province is already imposing a tax as well. I mean, now you're talking about paying 7% altogether if this increases to 5%. Is that right?
Say that again. 7% because
the province has already added a 2% vacancy tax to these units, and then if the city
I'm not sure if you just add percentages, but you have to recalculate the original number and then add the percentage after. But yeah, like I said, this is all hands on deck. We absolutely need to free up these units if they're not being freed up.
What if somebody doesn't want to be a landlord?
That's a good point, actually. Then I guess they pay the tax.
But I mean, you're penalizing somebody for deciding that they don't want somebody else living in what will eventually be their home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah. Then a 5% tax in the meantime.
Okay. You're also looking for, well, now in the new inventory, why just 1% on the new inventory if it's remaining unsold? What's the difference between an unsold condo and a condo that somebody's holding on to?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they got rid of it completely. So my sort of thing here was a bit of an olive leaf, not to go straight up. If it is a difficult time for developers to find buyers, and I recognize that. So this would just sort of ease in and increase over time as well. So,
do you think any of this is enough to drive a developer to a different municipality to build a project?
that's a good point too. I don't know. I think Vancouver is still pretty well sought after as a destination. So, and like you said, there's the vacancy tax across the province. So, hopefully not.
We got some numbers today from Canada Mortgage that says the average home cost or home value across the country is $664,000. That's making a lot of people in Vancouver chuckle a little bit. What do you think about that?
So what was the number again?
$664,000 for an average home in Canada.
Yeah, that is a bit surprising. I don't know what it is here. It's almost 2 million here, probably, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Sure.
ABC still has a majority on council. What are you expecting to happen to your motion?
Oh, I mean, I think they're going to pass it. I think they're going to do the right thing. They've seen, they're going to be looking for 0% property tax, as low as 0% property tax. And I think this is a if they're fiscal conservatives, I think this is a fiscal conservative motion in the sense that we're doing everything we can to increase revenues. So yeah, I absolutely think this is a great tool that we have, and we should celebrate it. And I think they will be on board for sure.
Councillor Orr, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care. That's Sean Orr, Vancouver City Councillor. That motion, by the way, will be debated at council on Wednesday.